Hello and welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. I'm Silver, and back with us again this week.
Chaotic.
Feeling better this week?
A little. I'm still very you guys will probably catch a cough or two, but my voice is still all icky because of my throat, and we'll see.
You sound okay on my end.
That's good. I've been drinking lots of water and eating lots of Dayquil, so.
Today's episode is about the Greek centaurs.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the Greek centaurs. How do you pronounce it? Because I've seen it done both ways: centaurs and centaurs.
I say centaurs.
Okay, I do as well. I've heard some people calling them centaurs as a Taurus.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I don't think I've ever purposely said centaur. I can see it. I usually just default to centaur. But I understand both pronunciations.
Would you like to explain to us what centaurs are? How much you know of them?
I'm gonna be real honest. My knowledge on their actual depth of lore is pretty low. I know a lot of sadistic facts about them that as always I probably just shouldn't know. They're something. They're in almost every form of Greek mythology. They're pretty intense creatures. A lot of things I probably
You got me you got me interested. What are these sadistic facts that you said
Huh?
sadistic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I said sadistic. They're sadistic
Yeah.
motherfuckers. Let's just say that if you were captured by them, you would get to know more than one intimately and probably not in great ways.
Hmm.
So yeah. There's obviously different lores of them. Like a lot of them are protective. They a lot of times they protect magic or protect like the forest or are like big symbols of like just magical protection. There's no other really way to say that. So their symbol is usually one of like lawful good. Usually, they can be a little wild. I'm interested to see what you tell me today. I'm interested to know.
Well, I don't know if you'll be happy to know this, but your original sadistic facts is the closest to the mythological depiction of centaurs, besides like two of them.
Fantastic.
Do you know any famous centaurs?
Um, like media famous
Well, like
or
mythology famous.
mythology famous? I honestly probably couldn't. Actually, hang on. I do know one, and why I can't think of his name. Why did I suddenly capitalized for what? it just started to capitalize.
Caps locks.
Yeah.
You're yelling at.
I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but Chiron.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Chiron.
I know him a lot. He's the one who I've read about the most. Karen.
I like Chiron.
Chiron is how I've always said it. I've heard it pronounced Karen, but I don't know if that's accurate or not. But yeah, Chiron is the one that I most famously know.
Chiron the original Karen?
Yeah, maybe. I'm gonna say probably not. He seems like a pretty chill dude.
He is. Yeah, so centaurs are, for the people who do not know, even though they're pretty famous creatures, they are half man, usually the upper body of a man, strapped onto the front of a horse's body, where the neck would come out. You just got torso and like arms and head. They are usually seen to be pretty savage in nature, and they represent barbarism and unbridled chaos.
Mm. Everybody loves a little unbridled chaos.
There's an exception to this, being Chiron and another centaur named Polos. So, if we go back to the origin stories of how centaurs came about,
Hmm.
there's two main depictions that people see, or that I heard a lot of. The first one involving Zeus, but not Zeus, kind of Zeus directly.
Hmm.
So it was Zeus became friends with King Zion,
Hmm.
friends enough that Zeus invited him to Mount Olympus, where Zion seen Hera and fell instantly in love with Hera.
Hmm.
Zeus noticed this, and
Oh.
he tested. He wanted to test Zion.
Huh.
So when Zion was sleeping in a field one day, Zeus sent a cloud nymph down to lay beside him, and he had the cloud nymph take the form of Hera. So what does Zion do when he wakes up and sees Hera laying next to him?
Oh, I mean, what any normal person would do, I guess. Not. No, I don't want to say normal. It's just Zeus's ass. This is just a Zeus
It's
ass world, okay?
a setup. So Zion did make love with this cloud nymph in the shape of Hera, and Zeus got mad. So
Oh, no kidding.
he struck Zion with a thunderbolt.
Imagine being mad the first time your wife sleeps with somebody after you slept with 50 people. Not even 50 is a low ball. 50 is a low ball.
It is.
And it wasn't even actually Hera.
No, it was just a lookalike that he set up.
What a wild dude. You know, for somebody who really just doesn't believe in monogamy for himself, he's real pressed right now.
Mhm.
Real pressed.
Being struck by a lightning bolt and being banned from Olympus wasn't the only thing Zion got. He also got strapped to a flaming, burning wheel that would then spin around the heavens nonstop.
Imagine getting zapped by lightning and be like, it's not over yet, though. This
Yeah.
isn't the worst.
I don't know if it's supposed to be like Apollo's wheel on his chariot. He's just spinning as he's going around. But eventually, Zeus thought it was enough and just moved him down to Tartarus. Or somebody did. But he ended up in Tartarus. But the cloud nymph that slept with him got pregnant, and she birthed Centaurus,
Mm.
who I seen was either the first centaur or the second origin story follows Centaurus. He was malformed human, and Centaurus laid with all the magnesium mares. Do you know what mares are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that what you were pausing for?
Yeah, I didn't know you had anything. I wasn't sure.
No, just
Yeah.
absorbing it all. I know what a mare is.
He's,
I know what's
he
up right
slept
now.
he slept with all the horses.
Hmm.
And then their children became the first race of centaurs.
So did mom just set him up for this failure, do you think? Was it the name Centaurus?
Is very likely.
I mean, I'm just asking.
Well, I think they named the new race centaurs after him.
No kidding. That's
Yeah.
wild. But still.
And that's how most of the wild centaurs were born. Chiron and Bolos were born different ways through other matings of gods together.
Hmm.
Like Chiron is from Cronus
Of
and I
course.
believe Oceania.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, Chiron looks different than other centaurs. Can you guess how Chiron looks different?
How he looks different?
Yeah,
He's different?
besides yeah, Chiron is definitely different than the rest of the centaurs.
I don't know.
I'll send you a picture.
Oh god. Oh god. That's disturbing on a lot of levels.
Would you like to depict the picture for our audio audience?
So usually, just for any audiences who've never looked at a picture of a centaur, and I recommend that if you haven't, you go and look at one. They are a man's top half, horse's bottom half. That means hooves, tail, everything. Okay. This man in this picture is just a horse's ass. He's got an entire human body, including weird feet at the front that are just normal human feet, and a horse ass attached to his ass. I just need you to know that's what he looks like. And it disturbs me to see his feet, his bare toesies, his bare grippers on the ground with a horse's ass coming right out his ass. And it's not even like the horse's ass, it's the horse's ribs coming out this man's butt with hooves. Hooves. There's hooves in the back, guys. Don't worry. There's not feet. There's no grippers at the back.
Singular grippers.
Singular pair of grippers. Not a fan. I don't like that.
That's how he was usually depicted. And he's the pretty much only centaur I've seen that is depicted this way.
I'm glad that people have stopped depicting him that way in modern
Mhm.
society. That's mortifying.
Can you imagine a new Percy Jackson kids TV show if Chiron was in it like this?
No. Would just throw the whole thing out.
So, you want me to tell you a little bit about Chiron?
Yes.
Chiron was the smartest of all the centaurs, and he was actually immortal because he was born of Kronos, so that makes him a god technically. And he was so smart that he was the main trainer for Heracles.
Uh-huh.
He also trained Theseus, and he also trained Achilles and Jason, and the tutor for the god of medicine.
Pretty cool dude for having some bear grippers.
Mhm. I think he probably would have trained Hercules a lot better than Phil, but it's kind of hard to beat Danny DeVito.
It is hard to beat Danny DeVito.
He did end up dying though. He asked Zeus to take away his immortality
Mm.
because of Hercules,
Oh.
because there was this big party at Pholus, at Pholus's house
Mm-hmm.
cave that him and Hercules were drinking it up, partying
Mm-hmm.
because he was friends with Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
He did not hide his wine from Dionysus very well, and Hercules found it. And this was like celebration wine that pretty much attracted all the centaurs around. And when Hercules opened it and started drinking it, all the centaurs rushed to him to pretty much fight Hercules for this wine.
Mm-hmm.
And Hercules, being Hercules, just decided to start shooting everybody with hydra covered arrows.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh. Okay.
Hydra venom is not nice. So Chiron came rushing in and he accidentally got shot by Hercules. But being immortal, the hydra poison didn't kill Chiron,
Mm.
but left him in a immortal state of pain continuously.
I hate that.
Mhm. Eventually, he did lose his immortality and died. So Zeus made him the constellation Centaurus.
Taurus. That's me.
Well, I think Centaurus is in the constellation Sagittarius.
Yeah, that's fair. Since technically their sign is a centaur.
Pholos also got injured by an arrow,
Mm.
but it's because he picked up an arrow to look at it, ended up dropping itself on his foot.
Mm.
So he accidentally died by being clumsy.
You know what? That sounds like a fate I would put myself through.
Mhm.
I would end up in that position.
Then during this same party, there's a third named centaur that was also kind of like the leader of all the wild centaurs a bit.
Uh-huh.
His name was Nessus,
Oh.
and he seeing Hercules there, decided it was a good idea to just go steal Hercules' wife.
Oh, Jesus Christ. These people are wild.
So he rushed to steal Hercules' wife, and he did actually steal the wife. Newlyweds, they were. His wife's name was Deianira. Hercules ended up chasing him for a while, ended up catching up with him, and shot Nessus with a hydrocoded arrow,
Mm,
as Hercules does.
as Hercules does. It's just an everyday thing at this moment.
Uh-huh. He was known for his great strength, but what he really did a lot was just shoot things.
Hydro-coated arrows.
Yes.
Yep.
It's like a cheat code to win.
He's like, I heard a story one time about a guy getting shot in the fucking Achilles heel. From that point on, I'm shooting arrows.
Yeah.
This man was like, challenge accepted.
So as Nessus was dying, he whispered into Deianira's ear. He's like, take my blood. It has a strong aphrodisiac in it. Love potion material strong. If ever Hercules starts to wane from loving you, just wipe some on him. Do you think this was true?
I honestly don't know. I don't know what I wish that it's the Greeks. I honestly probably I'm gonna say probably.
Okay. So we skip ahead a couple years in this story, and Hercules is finding interest in other women besides his wife.
Mm,
So in order to win Hercules back, she still had the blood from Nessus. So she wiped it on Hercules in order to try and win him back, which then proceeded to melt Hercules' face off and kill Hercules.
okay. It just keeps taking turns. There's no straight path in these stories. It's just a sharp left turn and then another sharp left turn. They're crashing into each other like Tron.
Do you know, can you tell why it melted Hercules?
I don't.
Because Hercules shot him with the hydrocoded arrow.
You know what? I should have seen it coming. I should have seen it. I should have known. It always comes back to the hydrocoded arrow.
So the, the venom was in his blood. So the blood was poisoned.
We're gonna need some hydrocoded arrow merch.
When in doubt, hydrocoded
Hydrocoded
arrows.
arrow.
Yeah.
Sponsored by hydrocoded yarrows.
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 Warning, do not touch the blood of your victim. You cause face melting.
Warning, maybe don't sleep with your enemy's wife. Might be a great
Mhm.
idea. Just letting you guys know.
Don't sleep with anybody else's wife.
Don't sleep. That's a whole rule in everybody's rule books. Don't sleep with other people's wives. It's that easy. It's that easy. Might get shot by a hydro-coated arrow if you do. Might not see it coming.
Don't steal wives.
You never know when one might be Hercules or
Mhm.
Zeus.
Yeah. Because he tried to steal Zeus's wife. And
It all comes back to Zeus. Zeus and hydro-coated arrows. It's like a big loop.
and Hera, because Hera sent him on this quest and got the arrows.
Yeah, and you know what? No, it always comes back to Zeus and Hera. Somebody somewhere got jealous, something happened, and it always comes back to it.
Usually ends up in hydrocoded arrows, then death. Sometimes not in that order. So centaurs were connected to another god besides Hercules, Zeus, Hera. It's another god we talk about quite a bit, Dionysus.
Mm-hmm.
They were connected to Dionysus as they were usually depicted carrying drinking vessels, musical instruments, wreaths, and have been seen as the entourage for Dionysus
Mm-hmm.
because they like to party and drink, and they really like his wine, which started this whole party fiasco.
That's a great idea. Parties in the Greeks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of Dionysus wine.
Yep.
There was a story before this party with Pholos, where Pholos and Nessus was at another party, a wedding for king I don't remember his name of,
Mm-hmm.
but he ended up getting the Centaurs drunk, and Pholos was the only one that kind of didn't get drink. All the other Centaurs went wild and pretty much started trashing the place. Nessus then tried to steal another person's wife and run off.
He's got a type.
Yeah,
It's
wives.
married.
But there was a hero there at the time that ended up chasing them off, and that was Theseus.
Mm.
And Theseus is good with hoofed animals. Theseus is also the one that defeated the Minotaur, so he's good against hoofed creatures. And he happened to be trained by Chiron.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Super good with hoof creatures. When your teacher is a hoof creature, you got a specialization.
Theseus ended up driving the centaurs off, and they ran into the woods.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot to mention that they lived on a mountain in the north side of Greek, the forest of Thessaly,
Okay.
which was beyond the land of men. That's where they lived.
I love as you're going to read, you have to like mentally prepare yourself, and all I hear is
My notes are just little tidbits of everything. I gotta try and work them together.
Yep.
I can't literature.
What even is literature? Probably Centaur written at this point.
It'd have to be from Pholos or Chiron. I think they're the only ones that were literate.
Yeah. It's the bear grippers. They really just help you out.
Yeah. How would Chiron sit?
I don't know why you're asking me. It's all disturbing. He probably doesn't. His legs probably fold outwards or something creepy, and he sits like a freaking horse.
What? He has two lower halves now. That means he's got two other things as well. Chaotic space of realization.
I was like, no, he doesn't, because most centaurs cut off at like the navel. And I was like, no, he doesn't. This man has a full plank front.
Uh-huh. You think he's Kindalling it up there? Don't want to think about it. Most centaurs were not known to wear clothes.
He's wearing clothes in that image, okay?
He's different than the other centaurs.
Are there stories? Do we know?
Not that I found. I'm sure some fan fiction writer back in like 60 AD probably wrote something about
Some
Chiron.
fan fiction writers in 60 AD. Does Chiron have two dicks?
Chaotic's Googling the important questions.
All it wants to give me is the traditional,
The traditional centaur.
yeah, where it's obviously just the horse anatomy.
Oh, you'll really hate me once we get to the D&D anatomy.
Oh, I sound some cursed Percy Jackson fucking fan. I'm good. It's so cursed.
Just send it to Loki and call it a night.
I'm exiting. I'm exiting. We don't know. We're never gonna know. We're never gonna know. I'm exiting. I'm gonna assume he has two anatomies with the way he's shaped.
Would you like to move on to media?
Mm-hmm.
You want to start off with media?
Sure.
Percy Jackson fan fiction.
Well, Percy Jackson's one. He's Percy Jackson's teacher. He's like one of the most respected and powerful teachers in Half-Blood Camp. Harry Potter.
Someone say he's built like a horse.
I'm quitting the podcast. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm done. I'm leaving. We're done.
Yes, Harry Potter. They carried off Umbridge or
Yeah, Umbridge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're in the first movie too. In the first one, Harry Potter finds Voldemort drinking unicorn's blood, and the main centaur Fivir, I can't remember his name, starts with an F. But he comes out and tells Hagrid like what was found. He talks to Hagrid specifically. And then that's why when they see Harry in 5, in Order of the Phoenix, I'm pretty sure is when that happens. When they see Harry, it might be 6. I don't remember. When they see Harry and they carry off Umbridge, it's been a long time. They know Harry's not a bad guy.
They're also in the Chronicles of Narnia, and
Oh, they are in Chronicles of Narnia.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie too. They're in Xena, Warrior Princess,
Oh yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons,
Well, duh.
Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
Age of Mythology. In anime, they're in A Centaur's Life. They're in Monster Girl Doctor,
Oh.
Monster Musume, and just recently on today's episode of Ancient Magus Bride, there was like a guard centaur. It didn't show its face or features, just it was centaur shaped, not the Chiron centaur shape, like a normal centaur shape.
Regular centaur shape.
Pretty much any other fantasy novel, fantasy story usually includes a centaur or references to centaurs. I believe Gundam has some centaur shaped mechs. You want to know the Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah. Let me know what's up with it.
So in D&D, from what I've seen somebody post centaurs. You know how it's upper half of the human and lower half of the horse, right? Well, their organs, the entire human half is just lungs. And all the rest of the anatomy is inside so the human half is just all big lung.
Oh, I don't like that, but oh, all right.
Yeah, so your horse heart and everything will be down below, and just imagine when he breathes, it's just his entire everything just swells.
No.
And they're chaotic neutral usually, or true neutral. Some people say they are. I also heard that they do travel around in herds, depending on there's like fields and woods, and they're usually related to elves, and they don't like people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Ravnica setting, they're all medium sized, so they're like pony centaurs because they'd be like regular character height,
Mm-hmm.
but they have a lower half the horse, so they're like pony sized.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's probably a variety of centaurs, ponies, donkeys, Clydesdales. That's all I can think of for media. Unless you got anything else.
I don't think so. I named my most famous ones.
So that means it is on to media.
Woo.
Not media.
Media. Mayhem.
On the ma'am. I did this
Mayhem.
last week too.
We just
That's
left
media talk.
mayhem or media. Fuck. Whatever. Whatever's fucking happening here. Ow.
School placement.
Yeah. Obviously, teacher.
Yeah. If they were a whole group of Chirons, teacher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What if they're the wild ones?
What do you mean?
The wilder centaurs? Like Nessus? Wife
Yeah.
stealer?
Yeah.
Still a teacher?
No, I mean, obviously not. Are we letting them all into the school? I don't think we should let them. They'll be a gang.
They're the local motorcycle gang, but they're got horse bodies instead, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they got little speakers on the side of their bodies that they play motorcycle noises with as they run down the street.
Yep. If it's just Chiron, professor, obviously teacher. If we're letting everybody else in, they'd have to be like jocks. You know,
Hoodlums?
like, and not the good jocks, not like the athletic people that like raise money for charity and are great people. They're the jocks that sleep with your girlfriend, or at least try. And then when you go to beat them
Mr.
up, you really can't do it unless you have a special arrow. So like, you know,
Yeah, makes sense to the jerk jocks.
mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, I'd have to agree. I kind of like the motorcycle gang theory. Chiron used to be in the gang, but now he's a teacher, so they come and terrorize the school because Chiron's there.
Yeah. They're like, yo, what up? And he's like, bro, if you don't get off school grounds right now. And they're like, don't you love us? No, bro,
Yeah,
I don't. Get off school grounds.
get out of here before I show you what these grippers do.
Not the grippers.
I imagine Chiron as kind of like the hippie strict teacher that wears sandals,
Mm-hmm.
or as Australians call them, thongs. Uh, okay, what if we release everybody out into the world, mayhem wise, to the general populace?
Hide your wives. Um, um, I don't know. It could be a hit or miss. It could be a hit or miss.
They'd probably be sticking around all the drinking, all the like wine making facilities.
Oh shit, we'd have so many in Ohio.
Hmm. What's that called? It's
A winery?
paint. Yeah, well, paint your wine where you got them paint and
Oh
drink
yeah,
wine.
the paint and wine. Bunch of
Yeah,
centaurs just show up to class.
because they're with Dionysus, so they know art. So in drinking wine, that's their gig.
Yeah, they're the. Oh my god, all the wine and paint teachers are actually centaurs. They're all a bunch of chirons.
Then you get the group led by Nessus going around trying to steal everybody's wives.
Hide your wives.
We won't have any hydro-coated arrows to stop them. I'm pretty sure I think bolts would probably work.
I'm saying so. Imagine if Hercules found out. God dang, he'd be terrifying. Everybody's dying today.
Yeah, instead of hydro-coated arrows, it's hydro-coated bullets.
That's not funny.
Guess it's time to start wrapping things up. Going
Yeah,
towards
yeah.
our outro section.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to our patrons, Ruby, Mondi, Mage. You got any news, Chaotic?
I have a tournament coming up on the 30th to raise money for Stream for a Cause. It's the Safe Space Showcase. It's for mental health creators. Those of you who know or follow my YouTube, I just released a mental health creators kind of shout out for a lot of my mental health friends that are creators. If you haven't checked it out, it's a really cool video on YouTube and it's very, very hype. I'd love to continue to make stuff like that. But we'll be hosting a DBD tournament. It's a duo 1v1 tournament. So basically, you are a duo. One of you will kill, one of you will survive. But don't get comfy in those positions because it could switch. And you'll go up against other duo teams that are killing and surviving, and everybody will get to face off quite a bit. Hopefully, my hope is at least once to every team would be neat. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still formulating the rules and the bracket. But the signups do not close until the 15th. So when you guys hear this, you have till Friday to get it filled out. So get on it, fill it out. GG easy.
Get on it.
Get on it.
You gonna be posting updates on your Twitter and everything,
Yep, I have the application and stuff on my Twitter.
just so people know where to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, applications on my Twitter, and you can always reach out to me on Discord, chaotically on Discord.
Which the link to our Discord is in the description below, and to our Twitter, which you can reach Chaotic there too.
Yep.
I'll repost your stuff.
Yeah.
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 As for podcast news, nothing to advertise of right now. Would you like to send us off with the outro that I still have yet to clip?
Sure. Thank you for listening to Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter for even more insider looks and some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what kind of mayhem we might get into.